Today, I kind of miss YouTube world, so I thought I'd shoot a video out of a request. I got some requests for some ribs. So actually today we're going to be doing some pork ribs, and either we're going to grill and chill or we're going to oven in the oven, depending on the weather, man. He predicts rain later, but you never know. It could be snow in New York. You never know. So let's get started with some barbecue sauce. Normally, I do a barbecue sauce with a little bit of pale ale, but today we're actually going to do a Dr. Pepper sauce. So in here I have 2 cups of regular ketchup. I have 1/2 cup of brown sugar that we're going to go ahead and add right in there. We have about 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. We have 1/3 cup of Worcestershire sauce. Some people don't know how to pronounce that, but that's what we got here today. And we have 12 ounces of our Dr. Pepper, so we'll just go ahead and add that right in there. I also am putting 1/4 cup of molasses in here. That will go ahead and thicken up your sauce. We're going to low and slow this cook on the oven burner for about 20 minutes and then come back to it. After 20 minutes, we'll let it cool for another 10, and then we're going to use our immersion blender and blend up this chopped onion and garlic in here. I also have a little mix of some paprika, pepper, Himalayan salt that I'm going to go ahead and add in there. There's about 2 tablespoons of chili powder as well. And we have 1 medium onion chopped and about 6 cloves of garlic. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. It might look a little soupy, but once it simmers and cooks down a little bit, it will thicken right up for you. And we also have 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. I'm just going to add that, sprinkle that right into the mix. And that will help also thicken it up. So I'm going to put, like I said, I'm going to put this on the burner for about 20 minutes, low and slow. And then we'll take it off of the burner for 10 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and immersion blend all the onions and the garlic in there. Now, I also am going to do a dry rub for the ribs, but let me get to that 1 second. Dry rub. In here I have about 1.5 cups of brown sugar. I have a mix of S&P, so we'll put that right in there. I have about 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of paprika, and 2 tablespoons of onion powder, and 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. So we're going to be pretty generous with these ribs here. We'll just go ahead and mix that up. When it gets close to cooking time, we're going to go ahead and trim off any of this excess fat from the ribs so they can cook more evenly. And we're going to also take off the membrane because, see, they didn't do that for us here. So we'll just cut that right off before we go ahead and put on our dry rub. Now, later when we do our dry rub, we're only going to put it on the ribs for about 30 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to turn into like a ham. So we're going to do that closer to when we get to grilling or in the oven. So I'll see you then. So as the weatherman predicted, it did actually rain, and I'm not sure if it's going to let up. So that note, we're actually going to put them in the oven at 300 for the next 3.5, 4 hours. And go ahead and do this dry rub real quick. Now, like I said earlier, you're going to generously go ahead and add that rub. And we'll put that on the ribs for the next 30 minutes. Let that sit on the ribs for 30 minutes. Rub this in. This is the back sides. I just wanted to show you what I meant by getting rid of the membrane like we did here. So that way, we'll just get this rubbed in here. And these are the backs. You want to make sure you go ahead and do both sides. We did trim off some of the excess fat that I was showing you earlier. Yeah, see how it's just staying right on there? That's because we went ahead and patted those dry after we did the trimming. The weather is so bizarre today. Now the sun is shining, and I'm sure there's a rainbow, but I don't want to be caught in a thunderstorm or lightning storm with metal utensils on my grill. So we're just going to go ahead and do it this way. Some people don't have grills, so I can explain what we were going to do for the grilling. I was going to go ahead and soak these hickory chips I have. I was going to put about 2 cups of hickory chips in cold water for about half hour. And then I was going to go ahead, seal up the hickory chips in some tin foil and place those wrapped up in tin foil, poke some holes in them, poke some holes in the tin foil, I mean. So I was going to poke some holes in the tin foil and then put those on the side of where we were going to go ahead and put our ribs. We're going to wrap these ribs up, and we're going to put this in the center of our grill on indirect heat and have the hickory chips on the side with the heat. But today, since we're doing it in the oven, I'm going to wash my hands real quick. So in the bottom of my pan, I'm actually going to add some hickory smoke. Just going to go ahead and line that right on the sides. And I'm also going to put some more of that Dr. Pepper in here. So we're going to give it a bath. After these have been sitting for about 30 minutes, we'll throw it in the oven, like I said, 300 for the next 3.5, 4 hours. And then within the last hour, we're actually going to baste our ribs with the barbecue sauce that we made earlier. And let me go ahead and show you that real quick. So here's the barbecue sauce. We went ahead and immersioned that, the onions and the garlic, and that's the thickness that gave us. Now, if we're not using all this barbecue sauce, we can actually store this in the refrigerator for about 2 weeks. And plus we'll have some Henderwaddle salt potatoes later to go ahead with our ribs. Plus I have a whole chicken that needs to be cooking, so we're going to be putting that on too as well. So I'll see you back in about an hour. I got my ribs out and we put the barbecue sauce on for the last hour. So I just want to show you all this yumminess here. I got a couple ribs, my Henderwaddle potatoes. See, the other day I had put a whole chicken in the crock pot. I put it in there for about 5-6 hours and we didn't get to it. So I put it in the oven and used up the rest of that barbecue sauce that we made up today. So let me go ahead and this is a butter knife that I'm using. Let's see what our ribs look like here. Oh yeah. Let's try this out. Very good. I do think I would have went a little bit lighter on the cumin, but otherwise I think it's absolutely delicious. Hope y'all have a nice summer.